Well, this feels a little bit weird. I've not filmed a YouTube video in a very long time, or talked to a camera or talked to you guys. But I have been tinkering on the Land Rovers in the background, and in today's video I wanted to give you a walk around of Project Blue, some of the changes that I've been doing when I've not been filming or documenting for YouTube. I've still been tinkering in the background and playing around with Project Blue, and now the sun's out, it's time to enjoy the soft top for really what it is. And over the winter I've made some real significant improvements which I'm so excited to share with you guys in today's video. So I'll give you a bit of a walk around the journey it's been on so far, and then some of the things that, again, as I say, I've not been documenting on YouTube. I'm excited to be back and to share this video with you. So let's jump right in. This build started out life as a tired Land Rover Defender 90 hardtop. You've seen me tear this truck apart, removing side panels, the roof and the interior, ready to build my dream Landy. I've learned so much, from stripping the car down, preparing it for paint, doing a DIY respray on my driveway, to building the car back up complete with a bar set and canvas hood. I thought we could start at the back of the car, which is where some of the bigger modifications have changed or happened since I last filmed Blue on this channel. Obviously I've still got the Exmoor trim soft top canvas. I love this piece of kit with the heavy duty bar set. It means you've got so much versatility when the sun is out to roll the sides up, take the canvas off completely and go kind of full no top. I really loved kind of the configuration, and I love how it looks, the kind of sandstone against the blue. I think it looks just really cool. The other thing I've done since kind of being away is fitted the ORE wheel carrier back to Project Blue. For a long time I was running it without the rear wheel on, because I quite like the clean look, but I think now with it back on, you've still got you've got the silhouette of the original Land Rover, which is cool. This has got the half door plate on it, so it was just simple drilling a few holes into the rear door and then tightening all of that up and buttoning it up, so now it's solid, it's not going anywhere. And yeah, we've got the silhouette of the Land Rover back, which I really love. It still remains really functional too, so you can just button the canvas up and lift the door, and there you go. I still need to get a door stay, so it won't hold itself. But yeah, it means you can scramble in, jump out, and then yeah, just button it back up, and then you're good to go. So yeah, great piece of kit. As you know, I've had the ORE wheel carrier on Scout, the 110, for basically since I bought the car. A great piece of kit, takes all the weight off the door and means also that you've just got that extra level of security with it being bolted to the cross member. A few of the smaller things that I've done around the back, and I can't remember whether I've documented them or not. Optimal light plinths go round the fog light and the reverse light. Again, just add those extra small levels of detail. I've gone for this kind of gunmetal finish, and I added finally a classic badge. I know this doesn't necessarily fit with the age of the car, but because it's a more kind of classic heritage style build, I just think it sets it off really nicely to finish the look off. Just trying to think of other things that I did when I did the restoration. Painted the rear cross member, that was really crusty, they always go crusty, so sanded all of that back, painted the cross member, painted all of this rear quarter, rear back with the Paintman paints. Again, I documented that on the channel, but yeah, just tidied up the whole back end. I finally fitted some new cross member bolts too. Again, stainless steel finish. They finished the look off, and as you'll see as we go around the car, it's got loads of stainless steel accents on it, which I just think tie the build together really nicely. At the front of the car, there's also been some changes while I've not been documenting on YouTube. First thing I did was fit this new grille. This is from Lockwood, and I asked them actually not to powder coat it and leave it stainless steel, because I think it really ties in with the rest of the look of the car. It's a relatively easy install. I had to cut a little bit of the surround, and eventually I will get round to actually filling the holes where these current plastic nuts are, filling them, sanding them and getting a real clean finish on the grille, a little bit like I've done on Scout. Again, I'll overlay some pictures because these are a bit of a pet hate. What else have I done to the front? Obviously, as I documented the build, I fitted these ORE light parts headlights. These are really cool, they give you a classic look. This centre piece is actually a DRL, so it freshens up the look, gives you that classic feel, but with a bit of a modern twist. And kind of in a similar vein, I also fitted the ORE straight bumper, again, more of a classic look rather than the cranked style that I've got on the 110. But again, it's got daylight running lights. in the bumper, so it gives you that kind of classic look with a bit of a modern twist. Other things that I've done to the front, I've painted the surrounds body colour. Eventually I'll probably get some kind of classic headlight surrounds, so they'll be like pressed metal as opposed to the plastic. I think they look really smart, and again, I've done that on the 110, so would be something else to match up, which would be nice. And I've also fitted on the wing tops these new mesh vents. Again, these are what I previously had on Scout. I stripped them back and I've actually painted them gunmetal to match some of the other accents on the car. So as you can see down the side, we've got the Exmoor trim door hinges. These are really smart, and as I said, keeping all of those small accents kind of consistent throughout the build, give it that really classic look. And I also fitted the Exmoor trim door handles to match too, so you've got this really nice theme running throughout the car. These again just give you that sense of quality. They're metal, they're billet aluminium, and they feel really nice when you open and close the door. They give you kind of a much nicer feeling rather than the standard plastic ones. Other things that I'd like to do, change the wing mirrors. I don't know whether to do these in silver or whether to do them body colour or keep them black, but they just need freshening up, and the same as the arms. These arms corrode constantly. I think I go through a new set every year, so it's probably time to invest in some better quality mirror arms from the likes of Optimil that also do kind of grey or silver, but I'm trying to make sure I get the right balance of the silver accents. I don't want to go too heavy throughout the whole car. But yeah, that's definitely something that needs to be refreshed soon, because they're now where your eye goes to when you see everything else has been kind of tidied up really lovely. Still got the sawtooths on the car. So these were originally on Scout. I've swapped them out because I think Scout actually looks really cool on silver wheels. What I might do is get a set of silver wheels for this too. So change out the sawtooths, get a wider offset wheel to give it kind of a harsher stance, and then maybe some kind of gunmetal silver wheel would look really nice. I like the idea of kind of a deep dish wolf wheel, something like that. I've talked about wheels and tyre options before, but I think I'm leaning towards kind of, yeah, a silver anthracite, gunmetal, deep dish, wolf style classic wheel, wrapped in a slightly more aggressive tyre just to finish the look off. Now mechanically, I've not had to do too much to Blue. It was a pretty solid car when I bought it. I've just ensured that I've kept up on the servicing, so it had a major service around 3 to 4 months ago. There was a few kind of small things that we needed to do. A couple of brake lines needed tidying up that had corroded. One of the front arms had also gone as well, so we've done that. What I do think this needs is uprated suspension or refreshed suspension. So obviously this is a 2004 car, so it's 21, 22 years old now, and I don't think it's necessarily got the standard suspension from factory or the original suspension, but it all feels really tired. When you're on the road, especially roads out here, it feels quite crashy, and I don't know whether a part of that is because we've lost weight with fitting the canvas. I want to get something that's geared up more for this kind of setup, so I've been looking at some comfort springs, some comfort dampeners too, just to soften the ride, make it feel less crashy. At the end of the day, this isn't necessarily going to be going or doing much laning or off-roading. This is more about kind of a vehicle to hit the roads and the peaks. So I'm going to look at refreshing the suspension. I'd love to have a go at doing that myself too. It's a little bit daunting. And I know that some of these bolts are going to be an absolute nightmare to get out, and I don't want it to be a job where I start it and can't finish it. So I'm going to do a bit more investigation, whether that's something I can do myself, and what kind of setup I should go for. If you've got any thoughts, please leave a comment down below. Any road setups that you've found particularly work well, especially if you've got a soft top that's maybe a bit lighter, you want to think about the different kind of spring rates and compression rates and all of that kind of stuff. Let me know what you think. But in general, yeah, that's one thing mechanically that I would like to do. One other thing that I want to explore mechanically on Blue is whether I should fit a stainless steel exhaust system. The exhaust under here is looking pretty tired, so I'm thinking maybe if I refresh that, I should go for something a bit fruitier from an exhaust perspective. You guys know that on Scout I've got a Demand exhaust fitted. That's a 2.4 Puma. It It still sounds incredible, but I know that these TD5s can sound so good with an exhaust on it. So I'm really tempted to maybe fit one of those up. I've probably got an excuse for it anyway. The exhaust is looking pretty corroded under there. The arms are pretty brittle, or the hangers. So maybe if I look to refresh that, I should just go the full hog and fit a stainless exhaust to this. I don't want it to be totally leery, because at the end of the day it's a soft top, but I think it would probably add the final finish from a sound perspective to really hear what the TD5 should sound like. So I might do that. Right, so moving inside, out of the wind, I've actually done loads of work to the interior, both off camera and on camera too, to make it a really nice place to be, and it's something that I'm really kind of happy with where we've got to. I've documented in the past, I've fitted these Exmoor trim new seats cubby box. They're the cool and vintage style pattern, so they've got this real nice box pattern there, full leather, they're fully heated, which just really kind of uplift the interior. They're really comfortable, but also they give it a really lovely finish. Other things that I've done kind of as I've been going along, and again off camera, is just really tightening everything up. Everything was a bit tight, everything was a bit loose and rattly. So I've refreshed all of the bolts and the fixings in the dash, which took a long time to get all the right part numbers, but that is now totally refreshed. It doesn't rattle, it doesn't move, it doesn't go anywhere. I fitted a new plastic binnacle and metal binnacle surround. If anyone with a TD5 knows, when you take the dash off, a lot of those clips can get really brittle and snap. So I've actually refreshed all of that. And whilst it looks kind of very similar to what it did before, everything just feels like it was, you know, has it come back out the factory kind of tightened up, which is cool. Other things, I fitted a new gearbox tunnel matting. I'd previously got just the soundproofing over that. That's now, again, tidied it all up and fitted some new black carpets in the front. So now everything feels really fresh and clean. Things I've also done, I've got this Motorlita steering wheel. It's still probably 1 inch, 2 inches too big, but I think it fits really nicely with the look of the inside. So this is an Alcantara wheel. The final thing that I've done kind of to the front of the cab is I have retrimmed the dash top in this Harris tweed. I just wanted something that's made the build feel kind of really special, really unique. And I found this Harris tweed material, it came up online, perfect length to trim the dash. So that was a project that took a couple of days to take the old dash top off that was really cracked and horrible, filled it, sanded it all back, and then retrimmed it with this Harris tweed, and then refitted all of the dash top vents with stainless fixings. And I think it just finishes off the look of the truck really lovely inside. One other thing that I forgot to mention on the interior is the rear load bed, which has had a total transformation too. I again can't remember whether I documented it on the channel, but this Blue was actually getting ready for a friend's wedding, and it was all a bit rushed when the seats arrived. I had to get them in for the wedding, so I didn't ever film the install process, but it was super easy. What we've got in the back are cool and vintage rear bench seats, which look so good. They match the rest of the interior so perfectly, and they just tie in the rest of the build. For now, I've also just put down some choir matting, basically door matting, cut to fit the rear load bed. Over time, I'm probably going to refit or install a teak deck, a wooden deck to the back of the truck, which I think would just finish off the look. But yeah, I might have a go at doing that myself. I just need to pluck up the courage to have a go, but I'm excited because when that's in, I think the whole build will look kind of so good. So there you have it, guys. That is a walk around video of Project Blue. It's been cool to give you guys an update video on all the things I've been tinkering around with in the background whilst I've not necessarily had the time to pick up the camera and document everything. It's been nice to take a slower pace to the build whilst also taking it in the direction that I'm excited about. If there's anything that I've not covered that you've seen in this video that you'd like me to talk about in another video, please leave a comment down below. And equally, if there's anything that you would be doing to Blue that I haven't yet done, or perhaps you're not 100% sure with my choices on, please again leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, and hopefully I'll be back soon with another video.